All right, welcome to the show, everybody. We got a show for you. I'm Donald W. Moore. I started Get Off My Lawn Records. I'm a musician. I made a film like Star Wars. Want to wish everybody, because this will come out on Christmas Day. It is currently 11:07 on Christmas Eve p.m. It's late,
It's very late.
but we're gonna have a good show, and we're
Yeah.
gonna have a quick show because I just want to get over. You know,
You just want to go unwrap presents.
I do. I really,
And I won't
really
let you
do.
do that until after midnight.
Yeah. Well, and we got people coming over tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, Merry Christmas, Joyeux Noël, Feliz Navidad. I looked it up in German. I'm not saying it in German. Happy Hanukkah.
Mm-hmm.
This year, Hanukkah and Christmas overlap.
Yes.
Happy first day of Kwanzaa.
Mm-hmm.
And happy first day of Christmas. The 12 days of Christmas actually start on the 21st.
Yes. Do they start on the 21st? Or they start with the 25th and go the 12 days till...
I don't know. All I know is everybody gets a partridge in a pear tree tomorrow.
Okay.
That's how that goes. So I'm going to make a few references, at least in the beginning, but we have to be cognizant of the fact that the full episode goes up every Sunday at 2 p.m., and then the clips come out during the week daily.
Yes.
So that's who we are. We're a record label. We make
We
music.
are.
So I want to remind everybody right here, there's going to be a card to the most recent Freeform Fridays from the Jazz Destroyers.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this week it was Breaking the Wind. And I am
Yes.
not explaining the title. It will be self-explanatory. We commit to the upload, folks.
Yes.
I don't love every one of them. You might notice on the board there's some differences. I've got my Volcas up. I've been making tape 3 of the Volca album. I'm currently in process of writing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to hit my end-of-year goal. And to you, my audience, I apologize. And the worst part of it all is I've been playing with Famitracker, so I'm very excited because I've already started kind of the process of conceptualizing what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make an album with my Nintendo. And
Yes.
the working title is Nostalgia Trip. So in our announcements, goals, and giveaways, I'll start providing updates on Nostalgia Trip as well once the Volca album's finished.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because
And-
this would not be the first time you started another album before the previous album was finished.
Is that true? What other albums?
I'm pretty sure there's been a couple.
Concrete example, please.
Um,
Let's talk about.
I believe there was a Jazz Destroyers album that you started working on while you were working on a surf rock album.
The surf rock album never came to fruition.
Yeah, because you never finished it.
I got like I never got too far into it. Is really the problem. I tried, right?
I thought you got about halfway into it.
No.
Oh.
No, I got maybe halfway written on one of the tunes.
Mm.
I didn't get. I just hit a roadblock.
I thought you got much further than that. I thought you had a few tracks for it.
Nope. I try. I want to do a surf rock album. I think originally I was gonna do a surf rock album and call it Landlocked.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a longboard, a skateboard in the garage that looks hilarious when I drive it or ride it.
Write it, yeah.
Either way, I'm a big heavy dude and it bows, so it's like I'm riding a banana. But I wanted to go take that out to like there's dunes out in West Texas a little bit. So I wanted to go find a sand dune, shove it in the sand dune, take a picture of it, and call it Landlocked. I thought that was a good name for a surf album.
Okay.
But now since the election, I am convinced that my first surf rock album is going to be Bad Hombres. And Tom and I have been talking about it. We will make a Bad Hombres record. I just don't know if we're going to call it a Jazz Destroyers record or not. But anyway, who the bleep are you? Because if I do any of this, you're going to be involved.
Well, apparently I am the ghost of Christmas Present.
Ha! You kind of are. Because you're not
Kind
very
of.
good as the Ghost of Christmas Past because you can't name any other... You didn't know much about what was going on. I don't really talk about the projects with you while I'm doing them.
No, yeah, I get hints.
Yeah.
And so I never know exactly where you are on any of the projects.
And then every now and then I materialize with, like, material. And then I'm like, you must watch this. Or you must listen to this. I've been a lot more productive lately.
Yes.
in later episodes, we're going to talk about that. I've got a couple previous episodes. I'll do a card. The one that I like to show people who are in a rut is this one I call All That Matters is Output.
Yes.
So if you're having a tough time, watch that one and share it with somebody who maybe is in a little bit of a creative rut. So you're my wife. We started this together.
Yep.
I drug you along kicking and screaming.
Yep.
Well, you're having fun. We're 3 months in.
We're 3 months in.
We've been married much longer than
It
that.
feels like so much longer than that.
It's hard. It's a weekly show.
It is.
And there's a lot of times when I don't really want to YouTube.
Which is why we're doing this at 11 p.m.
Well, because we've been cleaning.
Well, yeah, but
'Cause-
we did not do it earlier.
And we'll have yeah.
Yeah.
Because I run a label. So,
Uh-huh.
so that's who the bleep we are. Let's move on to our section 2 and just get through the show.
All right.
Section 2 is our news and notes, our tits and bits, or what I call, do you give a bleep? I really
Yes.
don't give a bleep tonight, but we're going to go through. These are 5 stories. This normally Carissa compiles them and surprises me with them. And I'm kind of a news junkie, so I'm relatively okay with just talking about whatever pops up in the news.
Uh-huh.
Plus, it's do you give a bleep, so if I don't know, I just don't give a bleep. What's our first story?
First story, the Mini NES Classic Edition.
Ah, yes. I know all about this. You don't know. Did you read the article?
I glanced over it. It's
100. I believe they sold 196,000
yes.
Nintendo NES
About,
Classics. The NES Classic is like,
And that was just in the month of November.
yeah, and I have a Nintendo right here hooked up, ready to go. But they're much smaller. They're smaller than a cartridge for the Nintendo. They have an HDMI output. And it uses a controller that looks and feels like a Nintendo controller. Those are the big
Does it-
selling points.
So does it not use a cartridge or
No, everything's pre-built in. Comes with 30 games built in for $59.99. It's actually a pretty good deal.
unless you've got all the cartridges from when you were a kid
And I
you're,
do. That's why I don't have
then
one.
it's worthless.
That's why I don't have one, is because I have an EverDrive, which is how I'm gonna make that album I was talking about
Yes.
before. I'm gonna make a chiptune album, I swear, and
You swear.
it's coming. It's gonna be right after the Volca album. And I also have most of the games that it comes with, but it's very cool if you don't have the games. The problem is that everybody kind of knew it was going to be the hot toy that was scarce. Mm-hmm. So scalpers have been scalping the crud out of it. I went out of curiosity the other day and looked it up on Amazon. They were going for about $200, $250 on Amazon. Pat the NES punk, Pat Contry, who passed me that book over there, he wrote this. I've been on him to come on the podcast, and I bought the book. It's a good book. It's called The Ultimate Nintendo Guide to the NES Library. I'm just a big fan. I've been watching his videos for years. I'm going to see if I can get him on here. We'll have a conversation. But he's been tracking the prices. It looks like they maybe go down to about $160. What were you seeing?
I wasn't seeing prices, but what I was seeing was that Nintendo clearly did not produce enough and did not anticipate demand well at all, because
Right.
if they only moved...
No, they anticipated demand exceptionally well.
No,
They wanted to be known as the company that had the hard-to-get toy this year because they have the Switch coming in March. It was a brilliant move. It sucks if your kid is like, I must have this, but it's it's a remake of a system that's 30 years old. It's really only for people my age. And by the way, my friend got one, my friend Andrea from high school, and she was so happy, and I'm so glad she got one. She looked thrilled. I mean, if you don't have a way to play these on with the actual controller, it's got to be just the coolest thing ever.
I guess, but it still seems like a bad business move. Because, you've got this incredible demand for this product, and yet you moved less than 200,000 units.
Well, that's all they produced. They only
Yeah.
made 200,000 of them.
Yeah, but it seems like you could either use that to drive up the price, like
Which
the
is
actual
what
retail price, not the scalp price.
Well, so here's the thing, right?
'Cause, I mean,
they
Sony-
would have been jerks if they would have charged more than $60 for the thing.
then they should have produced more, because there is the demand for it at that price point. And
Yeah.
I mean, Sony moved 1,000 units of the PS4 on launch day alone.
100,000.
No, million.
Oh, a
Excuse
million?
me.
They moved a million?
1 million PS4s on launch day alone.
Yeah, but that's a real apples. This is more. The NES Classic is more comparable to like, and we don't have them really because we have my hobby outside of. I have a job, I have a day job. I do this, and then I have a hobby which is collecting vintage video games. And I'm not gonna. I've talked about doing some gameplay and stuff on the channel. You're against it though, right?
Yeah.
So leave a comment. Let me know if you want to see some gameplay. If you want to see me playing Contra or something.
Everybody else does gameplay.
I know. That's why I haven't started doing it. But I mean, if everybody wants some of it, I could totally do I could do some special episodes or put together some like time so that maybe I can take a week off eventually. But yeah, I agree they should have produced more. They probably could have sold 1 million of them at $59.99, and
Yeah.
and it still would have been hard to find, and it still would have been scalped at 1 million. So it does suck because basically either you had to really go track one down, which was tough because there are people who make a living buying these scarce items and then selling them for a markup, and you know it feels slimy and schemy, and I don't do it. But I'm not going to begrudge somebody on making a living. But the reality is, you know, all of those guys, either they're going to sell them off now, because not all of those are bought up. There's a glut of them on eBay at $150 right now.
Well, yeah, because everybody knows it's not worth it at that price.
Right, and there's rumors that Nintendo has shipped more units.
Okay.
So it's not like this was a limited run. This is just the initial run. But they do this every single time. They did it with the amiibos. Like I got my little Pikachu amiibo I love so very much. The other day I was looking out at the wall and the light coming out of here off the shelf goes through the door. There's a little Pikachu shadow on the wall.
Yeah, I still don't understand those. I still don't understand the point of those.
Oh, like you can put them on your game and it accesses content that's not available otherwise. And some of it actually, like... But it's goofy. It's like, you know, now Pikachu's wearing antlers or whatever. Like, you know, reindeer antlers and Merry Christmas. That's the kind of stuff that they do with those. I just wanted the little plastic statue of the cute little mouse.
Okay.
I had a chinchilla growing up. So...
Okay.
So yeah, I don't really give a bleep though, because they came out, I didn't really want one. And I specifically mentioned, like, don't go buying me one. Don't go.
No,
track
you
one down.
you mentioned one not. You mentioned me not buying you one after I'd already not bought you one for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little slow. All right. So
Yeah, I wasn't about to buy you one when you've already got the one next to you, and
this is but this was a much bigger chunk of change. That EverDrive was $150 or something.
sure, but it's everything. It's
Granted, I've had the Nintendo for 30 years.
that it works.
Yeah. Well, with my loving care, I've had to.
Everything works after 30 years with your loving care.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
But I mean, I have to keep that thing running. It's not the
Yeah.
most reliable machine.
of course not.
Yeah.
It's a 30-year-old video game machine that was only meant to last like 5 years, maybe.
I don't know about that.
Maybe 10. But
I'm curious what everybody thinks. What's your favorite system? Mine is the Nintendo. And I'm sure hi, Studio Cat. Studio Cat's gonna complain in the background today. Yeah, I don't give a bleep. You give a bleep?
no, because I'm not a video game person.
Yeah. You tell yourself that. What level are you on in Candy Crush?
Mhm.
All right. What's next?
What is next? Miles Teller involved in a car accident with an Uber driver.
Kid from Whiplash.
Yes.
If you haven't
And-
seen Whiplash, you should watch Whiplash. It's very good.
And he is also in Bleed for This.
So, I haven't seen Bleed for This. I've seen Whiplash.
I think Bleed for This came out fairly recently.
Um,
But, you know, we kind of live in a bubble. So,
Well, and you guys need me buying stuff to make CDs and tapes and things. You don't need me buying stuff to go to the. You don't need me going to the movies with my money. I buy equipment.
Sure.
I do kind of bubble off, but Whiplash is very good.
Yes.
I have it on Blu-ray. We both went to music college.
Yes.
You didn't have that experience at music
No,
school.
I didn't have that experience because I was a music business major, and there was like this unwritten agreement
To just leave you
amongst
guys alone.
the faculty to leave the music business majors alone
Right.
because we were the ones that actually bothered to graduate.
There's that.
Yeah, so I had a few professors along the way that were they would get frustrated at that level and ask me what my major was, and when I told them music business, you could just see on their faces they were like, "Damn it."
So I was not, right?
Uh-huh.
And I just want to point out, thank you for doing our contract. I wish you would do more of the business stuff, but that's okay.
It's a time thing.
So with that though, obviously the violence is, if you have a teacher that's throwing a chair at you, bail. There's no reason. But the J.K. Simmons did a pretty good job of humanizing his character. It feels that way when you're in music school while you're doing it. The pressure feels enormous. But I'm a gigging musician.
Yes.
I got what they teach you in music school has very little to do with what you're going to be doing out there in the world. There was no, hey, did you know you're going to have to make a lot of video content to be a musician kind of class, right? It was very much like, you got to be able to do these things. And some of the things I still can't do to this day. I still work at it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is I had a teacher who very much reminded me of J.K. Simmons' character. And I love him to pieces. He's probably aside from Mr. Randolph, aside from Eugene Randolph, he was definitely my favorite of the teachers. He's the one that stands out to me, and one of the few that stands out in a very positive way. And he pushed me to do things and think of things in ways I wouldn't have unless I had been really challenged in that manner and pushed that hard.
Yeah.
And I broke. You know, that's the reality. But
And some people respond to that kind of teaching.
right.
And some people just don't.
Right.
And
But you're talking about basically a big part of why Freeform Fridays exists is because of him.
sure.
So a huge thank you. But yeah, everybody should see that film. And Miles Teller, is he okay? Is he
Yeah, yeah, he and his girlfriend are okay.
Everybody's okay? How's the Uber driver?
The Uber driver pulled into oncoming traffic, and the accident was unavoidable.
Shh.
One passenger in the Uber was taken to the hospital with minor injuries, while another complained of minor pain.
Okay.
So,
So everybody's relatively okay.
yeah.
And this wasn't in Austin, so we can't recommend David Comey.
No, this was in
Because Austin doesn't have Uber.
this was in San Fernando Valley.
So, but I'm also thoroughly upset at Uber right now.
Why are you upset with our Uber?
Well, they've been trying these automated cars, which, first off,
that might have prevented this accident.
but they were operating without valid licensing and permitting.
Of course they were.
I'm going to adjust this because I can't have him rubbing on that.
That's fine.
So,
I'd say pull it back, but
yeah, but I can only do that so much. Anyway.
yeah, it's kind of tangled with yours. Okay.
So, but the thing about Uber is this is a company that is dead set on skirting the law. They were operating all these autonomous vehicles without the licensing from the California Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yep.
Which requires certain reporting. They just didn't want to tell how many red lights the thing ran.
Yeah,
They didn't want to tell how many people it almost mowed down and how many near misses. They want to keep that information private because it's very, very inconvenient for them because they're not performing that well.
Right.
And so here they are running these autonomous vehicles, which, by the way, they're already screwing the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically not making money as an Uber driver. What you're doing is you're trading miles on your car,
Mm-hmm.
wear and tear on your vehicle, equity in your vehicle. You're trading that for cash.
Yes.
So if you need it quick and you've got a car that qualifies, okay. But you most likely going without that thing is better if you already have a job. But there are people trying to make a living at this.
Yeah.
And shame on Uber.
And
Shame on their anti-union practices. Shame on their anti-regulation skirting. And then when Austin actually passes some reasonable regulation, they just pack up and leave. Screw them.
and yeah, that was.
I don't give a bleep about Uber. I give a bleep that Miles Teller's okay,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, he's okay.
Do you give a bleep?
I give a belief that Miles Teller and his girlfriend are okay.
Sure.
Um,
Go ahead.
I strongly suspect that Uber still refuses to get any sort of regulations on their drivers in any states. So
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
yeah, that's pretty lousy.
Yeah, they say they're doing background checks, but their background checks are BS.
Yeah, no.
I don't. The only people that should be running background checks is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Like when I go buy a firearm, and why can't they work with them and do that kind of background checking?
Yeah, no.
No.
The-
Shame on Uber.
Uber and all the other ride-sharing companies should be subjected to the absolute same regulations as a taxi company.
And they should be treating their people like the employees that they are, the way a taxi company would.
Yes.
And yeah, it's all just a big scheme, so they don't have to pay taxes and they don't have to be regulated. And all
Right.
they're doing, they're taking the classic startup run that Google showed everybody to do, which is Google did a better job. Uber is just cheap,
Yep.
right? But it's go undercut your entire, lose as much money as you can. They're the most losing startup in the history of startups. There's never been a startup that's lost money at the rate of Uber. And what they're doing is they're just trying to drive every mom and pop taxi company out of business. They aren't monopolies. They're owner operators for the most part. These are individuals just trying to make a living. And it's expensive and it's really hard to do and there's a lot of regulation. And yeah, when you're out there driving people around on the road constantly and you're picking up strangers, yeah, I want to make sure that you're thoroughly looked into and made sure it's okay. But they're just trying to drive those guys out. And then all of a sudden, Uber will just increase their prices once they have a monopoly on it. Yeah, no, screw Uber. All right, what's next?
What's next? Joey Boots
Who?
popularized the expression Baba Booey on the Howard Stern show.
I gotta be honest. I listened to Howard Stern very briefly, probably right after the movie came out. Though I grew up in the part of the country where he originally aired, so he was always on the radio. I just wasn't into talk radio, and I never really found it all that funny. And ever since he went to satellite radio, he's just gotten downright pornographic. So, and the Baba Booey thing, I've just never actually heard. It's more of a meme related to it. That's for like the true fans, I guess.
He defended his right to say Baba Booey on Stern's show and during live TV reports in a New York court. And
Wait, so this guy would call in and go Baba Booey? That's pretty funny. Baba Booey.
Oh, he was part of the Whack Pack.
Uh-oh.
Whatever that is.
Sounds like a bunch of guys without anything to do. What is it?
Well, his friends learned of his death after they began Friday's taping of his podcast.
Oh, he died.
The Joey Boots show. Yeah, you didn't
All
let
right.
me finish.
Never mind. I give a bleep,
So
but I don't really give a bleep.
They actually found him while they were recording while they were live.
Oh, they were live.
They were live.
So in the
didn't-
comments,
he
let's
didn't
get a link to it.
He didn't show up, and so fellow whackpacker Eric High Pitch Bleeman
Yeah,
went to check on him, went to his apartment,
sure.
entered the apartment with the help of the building manager.
Live on camera? Or no, I guess if it's just a pod.
Yeah, they were audio recording, it looks like.
Yeah, we do video. Most podcasts don't do video.
Yeah. And he basically called the show and told them to stop recording, but they kept rolling. And basically said he was slumped over in his chair and he was ice cold.
Ouch.
And
Any
that's-
idea what it was?
He'd openly discussed his diabetes previously. So that was...
I'm telling you, these
The
things
suspect.
like diabetes in the last 20 years or so, diabetes has become very normalized, and there's all these commercials like BB King. BB King, I remember very famously being in a commercial for a test strip where it would test on your hand, which is great. But and this guy probably had type 1, right? Was it type 1 diabetes or 2?
It doesn't say. I saw a picture of him, though. He's a big guy.
Yeah, and I'm a big guy. Though I keep an eye on my blood sugar. My blood sugar's currently it's like the most optimal thing about all of this. So, though my blood pressure's come back down, I've worked on it a lot. I am concerned. Diabetes runs in my family.
Yeah.
But yeah, there comes considerable risk with it, and managing it is really hard to do, and it's not always effective, and it ends lives early. So...
Yeah, he was 49.
49. Hopefully I make it that long.
You better.
We'll see. So yeah, I give a bleep, even though I normally I don't give a bleep because, I don't know who the hell he is, but I give a bleep this time. Do you give a bleep?
Yeah, I give a bleep because, one, that's a lousy way to go, and two, that's a lousy way to find out your friend's gone.
Yep. I hope to die of a heart attack on stage. That's probably the best way for me to go. Because otherwise, my number 2, you'd die in the process too. There's a lot of those stories. Anyway, what's next?
Let me guess, I'd die of suffocation.
Or drowning.
Oh, Jesus.
There was a story of a woman who drowned. Her husband had a heart attack on top of her in a hot tub, and so then she drowned.
Oh, jeez.
So, I'm sure that's not pleasant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that basically all you've done is talk yourself out of hot tub sex.
Damn it! Talk her back into it in the comments. What's next?
Status Quo star Rick Parfitt has died at the age of 68. He died in a hospital.
Status Quo?
Status Quo.
That doesn't sound like anything I'm interested in. What the hell is Status Quo?
Status Quo is one of British rock's most enduring acts. His partnership with Francis Rossi spanned 5 decades.
What era was that? I mean, if it's 5 decades, it's
5
a bunch
decades.
of
We're
bunch
going
of
back
eras.
to the 60s here.
Oh, it's a 60s band?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the things I know about the 60s, but I don't do a deep dive. I didn't grow up with 60s music. Like your dad, you grew up with 60s music.
Yeah.
I grew up with mostly late 70s folk. A lot of 70s. A lot of Simon and Garfunkel in my house.
Yeah, we had a lot in our house too.
A lot of Queen. My mother loved Queen.
Mm-hmm.
My dad loved the Eagles. But my parents weren't that. There wasn't a lot of music in the house. I was the music connoisseur of the house.
Yeah.
And once I found out about Pink Floyd. Every Pink Floyd I got it. This is the thing, we should do samplers once we get a little more of catalog going.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz I remember I bought Pink Floyd's Echoes.
Mm-hmm.
The best of Pink Floyd.
Yes.
I was very excited because I'd never actively listened to Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
So and this was that era where I was finally buying records for myself to listen to because I had a job, and I bought it and I listened to that record nonstop for about 6 months. And then I proceeded to buy every single full-length LP that Pink Floyd had ever made. My personal favorite's Uma Guma.
Okay.
We're really off on a tangent though.
You really, really are.
Well, because I don't know status quo. Do
You
you?
don't know
Are,
status
so I don't
quo.
give a bleep. Do you give a bleep?
I give a bleep.
Okay. Because we've established if I don't know who they are and I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with their work, like what was the big hit?
Big hit. Let me make sure I get the name right here. Rockin' All Over the World and Whatever You Want.
See, neither of those even ring a bell.
Okay.
That's the tough part with music, because there's just so much of it. So thank you guys for taking the time to check out what we do. Because we're just trying to make good music too.
Yes.
So you give a bleep. All right, what's
I give a
next?
bleep. Okay, last one. Carrie Fisher had a heart attack.
I sent this to you. She's currently in intensive care. She had a heart attack on an airplane.
Yes, at the end of a flight from London to Los Angeles.
Yep, I'll leave a comment from the Jazz Destroyer so that you guys can go subscribe to that if you haven't subscribed to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll leave a comment with any updates that come out on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably the end of Monday. I'm going to be out of town Monday, but yeah. So we'll make sure to keep everybody updated in the comment section of this video. I sent this to you yesterday, was it?
Yeah, it happened Friday, so yeah.
Yeah, I sent this to you yesterday. It was it was very sudden. I saw it pop up on Facebook on TMZ.
Yep.
And I was hoping it was going to turn out to be a hoax when I sent it to you. I was really hoping this would turn out to be a hoax. It turned out not to be a hoax. She had a heart attack. She's in intensive care. Let's make sure we send our thoughts and prayers.
Yep.
I have to admit, Carrie Fisher is how I figured out I was straight. So, I give quite a
I'm pretty sure you're in good company there.
a whole generation of us. So I give a bleep. All right,
Yes.
what's next? That's it, number 3.
That was number 5.
So section 3 has traditionally been what the bleep have you done for the label. Now you've been doing quite a bit for the label.
Yeah.
So we got so you guys know, like when you submit to book the Jazz Destroyers, it goes to her email. You're the one who checks it. So we've been getting offers from this guy for a while, right? And I keep telling you just ignore them. And then this week, I said, you know what? Why don't you find out what the term? Because booking's been quiet. We'll be playing on the 30th. We'll be at Highball, which is going to be a lot of fun. I think Josh Thompson's going to join us on saxophone, so that's always a treat. And I'm going to talk to Cassie. I'm going to talk to Cole and see if we get a couple singers going. You know, I might sing one. I don't know. Probably not. I'm not. I'm a guitarist.
If you've got a different option, I would go with that.
I love you too. So
I know.
So you've been getting these emails from this company. What is the name of the company?
It's Afton is the name of the company.
Right. Afton. And so I will give you guys the quick history of this. I saw an ad on, I tend to cruise Craigslist.
Yes.
Because, I mean, gigs, you got to really cruise it. You got to, like, look at it every day to pull 5 or 6 a year out. But I set up alerts, and I came across this one. They were looking for a band to play at Spinners. Spinners is kind of like a Hooters. Up on the highway north of town. So it's this terrible little sports bar, and here they are reaching out to a jazz group to see if we want to play. So I ask them, like, what are the, maybe, what are we talking about? And so he sends me the offer, and I just politely declined at the time. But ever since, I've done another video called Pay to Play, and where we talk about how these scams work. So I'm calling these guys out, and I'm specifically having you send them this video back.
Yes.
This is my response to you guys.
Yes.
Take me off your list. Stop what you're doing immediately, and I'm going to start pointing out to the public what you're doing. What was the offer?
The offer was that a key term is that you agree to pre-sell 20 plus tickets.
Right, you're agreeing to sell 20 tickets at what, $9?
$9.
So they're gonna get $200.
Oh, $9 with the early purchase promo code, $11 without the promo code.
Right, so they're gonna make $200 on you before anything. $200 on you. Now, what? So after you cross 20, then they start splitting the tickets with you. How much do they pay out after you've crossed that 20?
After you cross the 20, you get $3 to $6 per ticket.
$3 to $6 per ticket. Oh, hoo-hoo.
Basically, the more you sell, the more they're able to pay you.
Oh yeah, that's their pitch. Okay.
Set length
Yeah, it's what?
for a full band is 30 minutes, with 15 minutes for setup. In some cases, solo acoustic acts are booked for 20 to 25-minute sets, but this can vary.
Oh my God! So if you have a friend who is thinking about this, send them this video. This is not how booking works. This is not how it works. There are things that I'm upset about, like these charging for multi-track and stuff, and then they really only work with the guys that pay for that. So it turns into that. But even that's only $200 outlay. Right. These guys are going to make $200 off of you before you make a penny. They're going to put you on stage for 30 minutes. By the way, where are they having this? Because I'm calling out the venue too.
The venue is Kick Butt Coffee.
Screw Kick Butt Coffee. Screw you, Goring.
Now
I played there once. It's a shithole.
It's not a large venue.
It's not. It holds maybe 60 people. The stage is about the size of this room, and this room is not very big. And I put 5 people on stage there once. We barely fit.
Right.
And they've get. So I'm sure Afton's paying them something to do this, and then they're charging at the door. And you know what? The bands aren't making anything. If a band sells 100 tickets, they can't actually maintain that space. And you're not the other bands on the ticket, they're gonna put a punk band next to a singer-songwriter, next to some experimental ego trip BS. Nobody's gonna stick around for anything. It's just a terrible deal. Shame on you both for doing this. You're vultures. And I want nothing to do with you. That felt better.
Okay.
It's been bothering me, guys, because I gig. I've been booking for the Jazz Destroyers. We've been doing the Jazz Destroyers for 5 years. The first 3 years, I made no money.
Right.
0. I would play anywhere for free if they would let me play for free. Then in 2015, we started we picked up some monthly regular gigs, and it was great. Yep. And then in 2016, it took off, but then that first monthly regular gig, that place went under. That contract has gone out. So we're in kind of a weird booking place. So that's why I even had you respond. I wanted to see if their terms had changed.
No, and if anything, they seem to be even worse than they were previously.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, pay-to-play schemes. There's a card right here.
Yeah.
Screw you guys. Screw them.
Yeah, because, I mean, we're talking about a venue that holds maybe 40 people.
Right. Right.
You know, it was... I do not remember it being a big venue.
No, it is not a big venue. And it's not well set up for music.
No.
And the guy who runs it's kind of a prick. Yeah. Yeah, we will not be doing any events at Kick Butt Coffee. Yeah. I don't care. There are places where I will go never again.
Yeah, and that
is one of them.
That was the big one.
So there it is, right? Yep. Now, I had you send, there's other things in the business that bother me.
Uh-huh.
And this one caught me off guard, because I've been talking to this guy, Nick Nimmin. I finally am pronouncing his name correctly. Hi, Nick. And his buddy, Brian Johnson. And we've talked about this on YouTube. There's kind of a genre of video designed as self-help.
Yes.
Right? One of the most searched terms on YouTube is how to get more YouTube views.
Uh-huh.
I'm a YouTuber. I get it, right? This channel would explode if I just started making hacky nonsense of that. But I'm trying to build an audience. I've got a product to sell, right? But there are guys, and a lot of them, what they do is they build successful channels, and they go, I can help other people do this. And it comes from a place of it comes from that place of I want to help, and thank you for doing it. But there's this guy, Brian Schmoyer, who I got hip to before Nick and Tim
Schmoyer.
And I got hip to him and his video creators guys before Nick and Brian. And Nick and Brian, I both decided I'm going to do business with at some point.
Okay.
But my audience needs to buy some records so I can afford to do business with them. This stuff is not free.
Right.
Right? Tim sent me an offer by email to join his 10 week course.
Yes.
Right? It's a 10-week it's an intensive course, and the way he describes it is we're going to overhaul the channel, and we're going to have weekly video conference calls, and we're going to have a Facebook group where we'll all work together, and blah 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 blah. And how much does he want for it? For all the low price of
where was it?
$9.97, I believe it was.
Yeah, I don't
It's
even. I don't even see it in
$1,000 this guy wants for it. He's gonna put 20 people in this group, and he's gonna maybe spend those 10 weeks specifically only working on these 20 people. Which, if you think about it, 10 weeks, 20 people. So he's gonna he'll spend about 3 days with each person, and you're gonna pay him $1,000. He's gonna make $20,000 in 3 months.
Yeah, he doesn't even mention the price in the email.
Oh no, I looked into it.
You looked in.
I was interested. I was like, you know what? That'd be nice to kind of like have somebody helping out. But
$1,000.
I'm gonna work with Nick. I'm gonna work with Brian long before I work with those guys. Nick and Brian are cost conscious. They know that we've made less than $20.
Yeah.
So on YouTube stuff. So I'm not gonna spend all the record sales on YouTube stuff. I would rather spend it on Facebook ads to promote the records. So I have to be very cautious with my money. But the reality is this guy wants $1,000.
$1,000 for a Facebook group, a weekly conference call for 10 weeks, and many pages of feedback. I mean,
many. Two equals many, right? Like
many.
Like, this guy's going to sit there and tell you all the things that are wrong with your channel. Here's a better one. You guys are my audience. You're watching. What do you want to see? What do you want to see different? Right? Like, let me know how I'm doing. Leave a comment. And I am part of a I'm part of a YouTuber's Facebook group with Nick. He's not charging $1,000 for 10 weeks of this. We got a little community going. I've met a lot of really cool people. We're going to have some of them on the podcast. They all do some very cool stuff.
Yeah.
And, we're all at very different places. I happen to have my audio game on point.
Yes.
Except for last week because the power went out. But
yeah, that was funny.
But, and the first episode where the recorder screwed up. And there's no way of me knowing how it goes this week. But we do an okay job. I produced a feature film. I've produced a couple short films. I've scored a lot of things. This is all very intentional. Everything I do about this show is very intentional. It's all built specifically around how do I knock this right out for you.
Right.
But $1,000 for 10. Screw you, man. That's not right. That's $100 a week. That's a lot of money. And
well, you know what P.T. Barnum said? There's a sucker born every minute.
There's a sucker born every minute. I remember you should always be grateful for the advice you receive that's free, and always be wary of people who sell their advice.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
I don't know. What is next?
That was our what the bleep have you done for the label. So section 4 is usually our announcements, goals, and a giveaway.
Go for it.
Right? So let's talk about our announcements, goals, and giveaway. I'm trying to do this from memory. I have a little notebook around here somewhere. The first announcement that I have is the Volca album tape 3 is in process.
Yes.
Tapes 1 and 2 are done. You can actually watch me the take didn't make the album because it was half the length and all these things, but it's very cool. It gives you an idea as to what tape one's gonna sound like. On the Get Off My Lawn Records Facebook page. I recorded myself for 3 hours live. I've been trying to download the video, so if anybody can download it and send it to me, I'd appreciate it. It keeps erroring out. I want to cut it up. Because I start with like, I'm going to record these through this into this. It's me. So
Sure, and then there was another one you recorded, wasn't there?
and then tape 2 we actually have right here.
Okay.
It's not officially out yet. It's not public. It's unlisted. Feel free to pass it around, but that's an early access for that.
Yes.
So, but I'm writing tape 3, and and tape 3 is actually going to involve a little guitar playing, just a little, 1 minute. And after we did tape 2, I swore no more video. We're videoing this one, I've decided, just because I'm gonna record myself playing the guitar parts, and then I'll set up cameras when I do the cutting, and then I'll set up cameras when I do the mixing. We're gonna do one more with video. Sorry, I love you. You're so patient and wonderful.
You're gonna figure out how to slant this so I can read the.
Yeah, we're gonna reconfigure that. I got a little table in the garage, or maybe that little stool. I just got to get it down to where I can read it.
Okay.
Um.
Because yeah, last time that was miserable.
Yeah. So we're gonna miss the mark on getting that out this month.
Okay.
And next month is gonna be Best of Freeform Fridays 2016.
Yes.
I had promised a video to come out the day we record this, Saturday, on last week's show. I'm a damn dirty liar. I apologize. Here's a card. I'm going to hold off until next week to put that one up. I put up this week Sustainable Music, everybody's recording contract. I made that public.
Oh, okay.
So there's a link to that right here. MC Overlord, he's finishing up that album that he's doing with somebody else, and then we're going to start process on ours. 2006 and beyond.
Yes.
I'm probably out of cards, but I'm going to try a card here. Otherwise, there'll be just links in the description. I put that up. I recorded that album back in college.
Yep.
Mostly on Reason. I used Absinthe for a little bit of it, and my MX200 for a couple of tracks. And I can't find the WAV files. I'm not sure I ever did renderings of the WAV files. Like, they're just MP3 quality audio. It's not great in that realm of it.
I don't know. I know you burned me a CD of it at one point, but.
Did I?
Uh-huh.
I wonder.
Because you sent it home with me when I graduated.
I wonder if I wonder, but either way, all I have right now are the MP3s. So instead of putting that up on Bandcamp for sale, there will be a playlist somewhere, and I've put it on YouTube for everybody.
Yes.
So that was my Festivus gift to the community. We have our airing of grievances here on the podcast.
Yes.
And Jake's coming over for dinner tomorrow, so that's probably when we'll have our feats of strength.
Okay.
He's the only man I wrestle. We both have to be pretty drunk.
I was going to say, that explains college.
Yeah, and we both got to be pretty drunk. We wrestled more before you showed up. Jesse,
if you break out the marshmallows, you both have
we're
out on the front lawn.
Yeah, that's true. Jesse Thunderwake, I haven't made any progress, but there will be a link in the description for the SoundClick.
Yes.
You can hear it, but it's MP3 quality. I'm trying to find that so I can actually do that. But both of those will become available on CD only. I'm not going to do download cards. I'm not going to do limited runs, but I will do CDs. They'll be available at the shows. They'll be $10.
Okay.
If I can figure out how to do web shopping, I mean, I'll just have to figure out how to charge for shipping.
Okay.
It's a secret to nobody is currently still pay what you want on Bandcamp.
Okay.
But it is quickly coming to iTunes, Amazon, and everything else.
At which point won't the price be raised?
At that point, I will change the price to $9.99.
Okay.
Because that's what it'll be on, or probably I think it's 8 tracks. It'll probably be $7.99. It's whatever, a bucket track. But I'll have download cards for that as well. All our download cards are $5. If you see me in person and you want a download card, they're $5.
Or if you see me in person, I look pretty much like I look right now.
Right. I charge a little extra for the online, mostly because iTunes doesn't let me set the price. Mm-hmm. And also, if you're seeing me in person, there's a different level of support. You're probably there to see the show or something. Mm-hmm. So that's why I charge a different rate. You get a discount for showing up to the shows. And we have a winner from last week.
Woohoo!
For our giveaway, because 2006 and Beyond is our giveaway this week.
Yes.
But last week we had this giveaway, which I had gotten this book in the mail, and so it's awful. And we had one of these leave a comment, and Chris Peterson. So
go, Chris!
Congratulations, Chris is getting the book, which I assume he will recycle after laughing at it. A Get Off My Lawn Records sticker, and Jazz Destroyers Live download card. So that's our announcements. Our goals right now, we're at 120 subscribers.
Really?
Last week our goal was to get to 117, so we beat that. Way to go.
Woohoo. Who are our subscribers?
Who are our subscribers? Let me know in the comments.
A good thing to let us know,
and let me know what you want us to talk about, what you want to see, questions you have. Let's have a conversation.
Yes.
So let's see if we can get that up to 127. Let's try to keep a subscriber a day. Okay. So if you haven't already, what are you doing? You're this far in. Hit subscribe. We put a video out every day. The full show comes out on Sundays. Mm-hmm. And I put out special episodes. We did the Supro Titan versus Fender Vibrolux versus Marshall shootout. We got the unboxing for the Freeform Fridays cover coming. We unboxed a Mother 32, Volca Kick. I do a surprisingly large number of special episodes of this podcast.
Well, we've only been up for 3 months?
3 months.
So, yeah.
So we do a lot of them.
That may taper off in the future. Who knows?
Yeah. The Jazz Destroyers Live. The big news on that is that it's coming to CD.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I can finally go place the order for my... I insisted on waiting until after Christmas because, money and holidays, and I live a little close to the edge. But, now I can go buy all the equipment. So we're going to start making CDs.
Awesome.
So, so we will have to figure out how to do shipping and stuff. But yeah, CDs are coming. It's going to be great. We're going to make them here. And I'll probably live stream myself doing it because just to hang out with you guys. Escape from Ignorance. We'll see. We'll see. Steven's, we're going to see Steven tomorrow. He's coming over for dinner.
Yep.
We'll lean into him. He's trying to, the whole thing, he didn't think Trump was going to win at all. Like, it's forced him to really reflect and reconsider a lot of things, a lot of his assumptions about life, which we should all do all the time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so he's trying to retool the show to be like it. The way he would describe it is, it's never been more important. Yes, I know what time it is. There's a clock.
The clock's 3 minutes fast.
Who cares? Same difference. It's never been more important, but also where do you even start?
Right.
So we'll see. We're gonna help him do that. We're gonna put Escape from Ignorance up on the Bandcamp.
Okay.
Like, it gets distributed through Stitcher and everything, but it'll be a nice way to go binge listen. And if you're like me and you don't do all that stuff, like, I just like going to a website and listening.
Yep.
Millicent Hughes, we announced it last week. I'm excited to get started with her. I listened to some of the demos. They're very promising. It's going to be really good. She's quite a singer. Plays piano.
Just make sure you get a contract signed.
Yep. And I'll have to have the piano tuned before the session. We're going to have her actually play my piano.
Okay.
She's very excited. Sounds in Between, we'll probably get that going here pretty quick after the new year. Your Name Here. I still have a couple slots. I have this much bandwidth left. Yep. I'm looking for 1, maybe 2 bands that I can work with. It's a lot of work, but the Freeform Fridays 2017 is coming. That's going to take a ton of time. Those videos are a lot of work comparatively to this.
Yep, there's big old session coming up, so
Right.
it's gonna be fun.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to having a lot of new guests. And there's a lot of cool interviews coming. Bob Olson's committed.
Awesome.
Um,
Do we have a date for that yet?
no, not yet.
Okay.
Same with Moses Avalon.
Awesome.
And then Devin, who started Unwind, he's gonna come join us. We're gonna talk to him.
Okay.
It's a social network for wine drinkers.
Nice.
So if you're a wine drinker, that'll be fun. All right, what's next? It's our shout outs.
Shout outs.
So this is our section. I do a lot of talking about myself. I'm a little hoarse from talking about myself for so long.
Yep.
But I like to take the time and call out things that are not necessary, that aren't on the label, right? But are, and we just go support our friends, right? So my first shout out is to, it's either Cassie or Casey Shenham. I've now heard her pronounce it to other people twice, but I could have swore when I met her, she said it was Cassie, even though there's only one S, so it looks like it's spelled Casey. I could have swore we had that conversation. I've been rehearsing with her, and she's going to do a little singing with the Jazz Destroyer. She's been really supportive of everything we're doing. So, and she's great. We've been rehearsing and at really rough times and getting kicked out of practice rooms and stuff because we've been going to ACC and rehearsing there. I think that next week we'll be at UT.
Yeah, ACC's closed.
Yeah. Well, she talked somebody into opening the door. She's got that personality. She can make doors open. She's going to help us do some booking too. My second is Christine Lorenzo, who I totally have a download card for you. I just haven't sent him out yet. She's the best. She's shouted us out. She's made posts to other people about what we're
Nice.
doing about the Jazz Destroyers. Super supportive. She makes music. She just had a catastrophic loss. I went through one in college where you're like almost done with the project and the whole thing dies and you got to start over. And believe me, it really is a sign that the next one's going to be even better.
Okay.
And she's been going through some tough stuff personally, and I've been trying to provide words of encouragement. But she's the best.
Yes.
She's awesome. I remember her when she was that big because she was Pete's little brother or little sister. Little sister, sorry. But like a blip on the radar because she's so much younger than we are.
Yeah.
But way to go. And I think she just finished another semester. I think she's got a year left in school. So way to go. And then my third shout out is always to the Get Off My Lawn Records family.
Yes.
It's a whole family of us.
Yes.
Everybody on the label, everybody part of the Facebook group, which there'll be a link in the description if you want to go join the group. I moderate it, but it's a place where I provide updates and things. But really, I want to hear from you guys and what you're up to, because I want to give you guys shout outs. So yeah, who are your 3 shout outs?
My first shout out would be to my Secret Santa at work. Thank you. You apparently really know me, and I'm not sure if that frightens me or not, but thank you.
And you insist on sharing your bacon chocolate with me.
Yes.
I am not insisting that you share it with me.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to point that out for the audience.
Okay.
If you want to eat all of it, you can eat all of it. Because you are so excited about that bacon chocolate.
Yeah, I really am.
I'm pretty
really
excited about the bacon chocolate.
Second shout out is actually to you
Me?
for getting the Christmas tree up.
I did. I put the tree up. The
did.
train died. You know
Train
what?
died.
I'll put a link in the description. I set up I'd gotten my toy train. I'm still upset with Lionel. But they're gonna fix it under warranty. It's not working for Christmas. So I went and I set up. I kind of procrastinated setting up the tree because I wanted to set up my train set and then set up the tree. So I set up the train set. I played with it for 10 minutes and the thing dies.
Yes. Okay.
Just
And then-
ruined a couple of days for me.
Yes.
And so then I took it apart and I put the tree up the other day and we trimmed the tree. It looks great. And there's a picture of it on the Jazz Destroyers Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then my last shout out is to Kevin Seconds.
Who?
Kevin and his brother make up half of the punk band 7 Seconds. And on Thursday, their mom died suddenly.
Oh man.
And so,
Ouch.
punk music does not pay a lot at all, and their mom didn't have much in the way of savings, and so they've started a GoFundMe page to try to pay for her cremation and memorial service.
Yeah, let's go give to that.
And we'll post a comment with the link to that page as well.
Yeah, you'll post the comment. So we'll put it in the description. You got to email me the description after the show.
Okay.
The links. With GoFundMe, I just want to point out that you can give anonymously.
Yes.
Like, I don't have a ton, right? So what I give anonymously because the people who get it, they get the email. They know who I am. There was one I had been giving to a family I didn't know, but actually Christine, she had got me hip to this GoFundMe. And so, every time I get paid, I'd give them what I could. But it wasn't, it wasn't like I can go throw a large sum. So if you can, let's go try to help them get to their goal.
Yeah.
So we're going to give anonymously though. And you should too. I don't think it's anybody else's business when you give. Yeah, so that's our shout outs.
Yeah.
And we have our last section. This one I won't put up. The last two I've been putting up with the shout outs on the clips, but this one will be up. So I want to give you the Hustle Award for our Everybody Gets a Trophy. You get the Hustle Award because it is vastly improved downstairs.
Yes, it is.
It is vastly not improved in this room, but that's my fault.
Yes, it is.
And you're being great about this. Like, you're not usually... Like, you like the idea of people coming over, but the reality is very tough.
Right. The reality is very tough because I am an introvert and,
Right.
People.
But they're good people.
They're good people, and...
We're going to get to see a bunch of people who've been on the show.
I think I've met all but one of them before that are coming over tomorrow.
Yeah. I think Caitlin's bringing John, and I've never met John either.
I haven't met him, so I think that's the only one I haven't met.
But here's the best part. We don't have to drive home.
I know. That's so wonderful. And me, I'll cook.
Yeah.
I'm happy to cook.
Yeah. And I'll probably hide out in here.
No, you won't.
Okay.
You invited them all over. You
all right. I'll entertain. I'll entertain. If I want to drive them out, I'll start suggesting that we watch this video. That's how you drive people out of the house. Hey guys, you want to watch me on my giant projector? That's not weird, right? Okay.
As long as it's not a video of you in a gold bikini.
Oh man, we should talk to Ray. Hamster dance. I went to high school with Hamster Dance guy. Literally, like we were in a band together called The Last Minute. I played my first show with Hamster Dance guy. We should totally talk to Ray. Ray's great. He's a character.
Yep.
Trophy to Ray.
Trophy to Ray.
The character award.
Yes. But he doesn't get the trophy until he's on the show.
He was a much better guitarist than I was in high school. Drove me nuts. It's probably why I got good over the years.
I just saw him at your high school reunion and...
Did you recognize him from Hamster Dance?
Kind of.
That's pretty funny.
He
was also...
I think you mentioned it to me and then I saw him and I'm like, oh yeah.
New York Times did an article about him. He was the kid in Les Mis.
Yeah, you told me that.
On Broadway. New York Times did an article. He was living in a bus.
Like a converted school bus or
right,
something.
With his wife, and I think they had a kid. I think that's right when the kid came along. And now he's working a trade job. He's happy. He's doing good. Yeah, we should totally talk to Ray. He's a blast. He's good. He's good people. I went to high school with some really cool people.
Yes.
One of my buddies from high school is up in Midland. We'll have to go visit him one of these days.
Yeah, I just remember the people at the venue where your high school reunion was held actually coming up to me towards the end of it going, hey, those 3 people have rides home, right? And they pointed to you, Ray, and like your ex-girlfriend or whatever.
Oh, Carly. Yeah.
And I was just like, well, we'll figure it out.
I was worried that was going to turn into a John Hughes film at one point. First girlfriend too. Yeah, I got pretty drunk at that party.
Yeah, the 3 of you did. I had to reassure
I went on a
the
tear.
owner of the venue or the manager of the venue that yes, you guys had rides home.
Yeah.
You were not actually driving yourselves home, and that I hadn't had anything to drink, and I would drive you all home if I had to.
There you go. We know the Panthers, Panthers. We know how to party.
It was mainly the 3 of you.
Yeah, that's true.
It was pretty much just the 3 of you and maybe like a couple others, and everybody else was just sitting there watching you.
I posted in our Facebook group. We have a reunion Facebook group, like where everybody from the graduating class is in this group. So it's kind of bad form to just post stuff in there all the time because we all get notifications. But I totally posted. I said, "You guys know 2017s are 15." But I don't think they want to do anything for 15.
Yeah, I don't think mine did anything for 15.
Do people normally do things for 15?
I think they start doing every 5 years, like after you hit 20. Like they do 25, 30, 35. But that's mainly because, you get old and people die. So.
We've lost a couple of people already.
Yeah.
Real tragedy. But, yeah.
Yep.
I guess you give me a shout out so I don't get a trophy, do I?
Oh, you get a trophy.
Or I'm just off on a tangent tonight.
You get the tangent award because you've gone off on more tangents tonight.
I just wanted to get the show done. Thank you for watching. I want to give the audience an award. You get the how the hell did you follow along with all that award.
Yes.
You guys are the best for watching. We crossed 20,000 minutes in the last 28 days. Give yourselves a round of applause for that.
Yeah,
is...
I wasn't even aware that was possible.
Yeah. I have a lot of mixed feelings because I would rather the band do better than the label kind of thing, but...
But at the same time, it's really good that the label does well.
Exactly.
So...
I'll take it however I can get it. You guys seem to find me interesting enough to watch.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Thank you for watching. And have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy Holiday. We didn't do 6. We didn't do our broad topic. That's okay.
You're the one that was in charge of this.
It's a moot point because it would have come out afterwards. Happy first day of Kwanzaa.
Okay.
And I hope...
What was our broad topic?
Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays. Because I'm saying Merry Christmas, but I also say Happy Holidays.
I usually just repeat back whatever people say to me.
Right, but I always go you too.
Yeah, so if I say it first, I usually go with Happy Holidays, mainly because there's what?
Actually, I say you as well.
Oh, there's what?
I prefer the term alt-right. I'm not a grammar Nazi. Did you guys notice we have Vader? We've been burning the Vader Yule log.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, Vader's been being cremated in the background this whole episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking out the music. Thank you for checking out what we're doing. If you haven't checked out the Jazz Destroyers, go check out the Jazz Destroyers because there's that. And the 2006 and Beyond record, I have a couple of I'll leave with a couple parting thoughts for that.
Okay.
Mostly because I may opt to do something like a trailer for it. So I'll take this section and edit it down. But so I made 2006 and Beyond as a series of ambient electronic pieces between 2004 and 2006. The first few of those would have been the one Jagged Ice and Clouds. Those would have been very much live performed and improvised. The rest of the album is through composed and sequenced and engineered within reason. On a PowerBook G4 with 1 gigabyte of RAM. I think it had a 30 gigabyte hard drive. That's why I don't have the WAV files.
40.
40. No, yours had a 40, mine had a 30.
Really? There was
Yeah.
that much of a difference between one
Yeah.
semester?
Yes.
Jeez.
Well, because you had a year later. You had a generation.
Oh.
Anyway. I have a lot of criticisms of the album. But I'm never happy with anything. So I did a lot of soul searching, and I found it in my folders of things, and I said, oh, I should put that up. And I listened to it while I was in the process of assembling the YouTube videos and putting it up, and I listened to it in the background while also listening to a podcast without music.
Okay.
And it's great for that. Oh, it's tremendous for that. It's really tremendous if you pay very close attention to it. And it's really tremendous if you ignore it entirely, because it's just mood. It's just pure mood. It's a little... I don't even know what the word is. Artsy-fartsy in points.
Pretentious.
Yes, it's a little pretentious at points. I'm no stranger to pretense, though.
Nope.
I did make an album called This Is Post Jazz.
You are well and familiar with Pretense.
Yeah, and when I listen, and it's the only thing I've ever done that with my name on it that's been on the radio, like by Donald W. Moore. And and even then, it was the only thing I've had things on the radio that I've worked on, but not things that I've written. And it was played twice. You know, two tracks were played, and that was that.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot. And now that I've had a decade away from it, I'm able to view it with more of a unbiased eye. I made it at a very hard part of my life. I completed it also during a hard part of my life. And I never really took the time and effort, and I didn't really know how to promote it.
Right.
It's pretty hard to spread the word about ambient instrumental noise.
Yeah, well, it's also...
It's very contemplative.
At the time you made it, you were at music college, and, one project amongst the hundreds of projects, it just kind of gets lost in the craziness.
But I remember I took the time to make a cover for it.
Yes.
And I took quite a while to make, though it felt like it came together, but I also remember spending time. And all I could find was it was embedded into an MP3, so it was very low res. So I had to recreate the cover line by line, dot by dot, in a high resolution file. And so I used to use a goofy stage name, and the label used to be called something much goofier. So I replaced those names, and I wasn't able to quite replicate the font. I was really, really happy with the original font, and I just couldn't find it. But I did, I put a lot of time into it this week, and I recreated that, and I put a nice little edit in the beginning of each of the videos to kind of get you hyped for it.
Yes.
But it's very ambient. It's almost film soundtrack ambient, right? And one of them, I got a little political with it, which is kind of cool. That would be track 8.
Okay.
Which is Down, Down, Down. And have a listen. Let me know what you think of it. Even if you hate it, let me know. Because I don't know how I feel about it. It's a thing I made. And because I wrote it in a computer and I sequenced it and I composed it, I never really performed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it at a time when I wasn't really proficient enough to perform it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could probably do that sort of thing. Some of them I was like, oh, I could remix this, but I'll never get around to it.
No.
But yeah, so thanks for watching, and love each other.
Yes.
And on that note,